What if one idea could change your career forever? Not just a patent, but a business. Most innovators never commercialize their inventions. What if companies actually paid you to solve their problems? Learn how startups, industries, and universities turn innovation into revenue. Licensing, technology transfer, co-building, passive income. Discover real stories of inventors who built solutions and earned from them. Even Stanford built an innovation ecosystem that changed the world. Because great ideas don't create value unless they're commercialized. Are you ready to turn innovation into impact? Watch the complete session. Start building ideas that create value.
Hello everyone, a very good morning to all of you. I know many of you have been waiting to listen to this session on how to commercialize patent. But first and foremost, thank you all for giving such a great response to the last session. And I hope you'll keep on enjoying our further sessions too. So without wasting much time, and let's start with today's lecture. So before we begin, I would just like to again, for all the new participants who have joined us today, a very good morning and welcome to our lecture on conducted by Mission Invent. Okay.
Yes, good morning.
Hi, good morning. I'll request all the participants to keep their mics mute such that there is no interruption during the session. And if you have any question, we'll have a Q&A towards the end of the lecture. If you have any questions that please put it into the chat box such that our experts, there are multiple experts in the session, so they keep on addressing the questions continuously. But please keep your mic mute such that all the participants are not disturbed. Okay, so the people who are new to this lecture, I'll just like to introduce what Mission Invent is. So Mission Invent is powered by Micrave Consultancy and Services. So Micrave is a company which is 12 years old, and Mission Invent, we have been addressing multiple students, entrepreneurs, faculties, institutes, startups across India. And this year, we have taken an oath to take a mission to educate more than 5 lakh people across India till 2028. So here what we are trying to do is we are trying to connect as many as people possible from different institutions, different organizations who can help us reach as many people as possible such that we can educate them, we can tell them the importance of IPR, how it can uplift one's resume or career or bring India to a platform where Make in India will be easily achievable. So Mission Invent is a mission to reach more than 5 lakh people in the next 2 years. And I hope everyone who is a part of this will help us to reach as many as people as possible. So, everyone is going to be benefited by this mission. We are not just focusing on a particular group of people. The lack of awareness has caused a lot of issue. So we want every person, even students, like kids who are in, let's say, 8th standard, 5th standard, 4th standard, because we have very young entrepreneurs across India. If you just go back and watch our last lecture on basics, you will see that there are small kids doing invention. So now protection at a very basic level is important. So we are trying to address and reach as many as people as possible. Okay, how are we going to do it? Is we are going to take multiple lectures. We are going to spread as much awareness as possible, free of cost. These lectures that we are going to do, our experts are going to take multiple webinars, multiple seminar sessions, free of cost, such that we can reach as many people as possible. So we'll take lectures, we'll help them to draft and file, to secure IPRs, and even guide them how to commercialize their IPR. Okay, so actually, the entire Mission Invent is currently being supported by Micrave Consultancy and Services. It's a company established in India, Gujarat, and we have centers in multiple states. We have a very strong team who has been promoting IPR for the past 12 years. We have connected with multiple institutions and have been, got reputed in multiple good newspapers due to our activities. And now this activity is a dream project of our team to reach as many as people as possible. So today, our entire focus, so as I told you, we are having a 5 days session. That is distributed into 2 months. And today we are in the second episode where we'll be addressing how to commercialize. That means what actually the commercialization word means, because it is so much hyped and people are not understanding the real gist of it, and everyone is curious to know. And I know there are so many academicians who have joined here. So we'll actually address how to actually generate income from IPR and what the word actually commercialization means. So we'll be addressing that one by one with a lot of examples as much as possible. So first thing that we'll take up here is we'll take up very basic, that is what is the importance of idea. See, everything in this world that you can see it has come from an idea. It has come from a problem which a person identified and somebody said, you know what, this is a problem. How can I find a solution to it? When somebody thought of it, that is where invention came into picture. That is where an idea was born. So the first and foremost thing is you cannot sit and say, you know what, I want to find an idea. No. The first and foremost thing you need to do, the foundation of an idea, is find a problem. Because when you have a problem, you'll find a solution. And when you have a solution, that is the idea which can create, or solve that problem. So the core thing about invention is to have an idea. So idea is basically protected in multiple formats. So from idea to patent, although we are not, the commercialization is not about patenting, but because we are talking about ideas here, we are talking about technology, it always links to patent. That means if you have an idea, the next and foremost stage is to do a prior art verification. Now, why are we talking about prior art verification? Is because when today's entire, the topic of conversation is about commercialization. That means to put your product into the market, right? So you need to know how will the product reach the market if that idea already exists. That is why to take a patent from ideation to patenting stage, the first and foremost step is to have a prior art search. Prior art search is a verification that is done on a national and international scale. There are multiple databases, patents, published papers, commercialized platforms. Everything is verified to see if that idea or product already exists. So it saves a lot of time, it saves a lot of money, because if you're directly investing into a project and start working on it, and if that already exists, then you do not get the freedom to operate. So to have the freedom to operate carelessly and with a lot of protection and to benefit from it, you need to have a prior art search. After prior art search, the next stage is obviously drafting and filing. So once you're very sure that you have done like a thorough prior art search, you're very confident about it, the next stage is drafting and filing. So once the drafting and filing needs complete disclosure of your idea. See, this is something which I have been talking with multiple patent officers across India, where the patents get rejected because they think that, if I have an idea, why to disclose it completely? Let hide a portion of it and just disclose enough to get a patent. But do understand that when you decide to commercialize a product, that means to bring that product into the market, there are a lot of people who are going to study your product. And if you decide to hide a portion of it, there will be somebody else who is going to research on it, find that improvement and file a patent on the idea that you decided to hide. Now, if you want to implement that same thing into your product, you might have to buy it from somebody else. So do not hide. Give a complete disclosure, because you are going to commercialize. I know your idea will be protected for a term of 20 years only. But right now, in this generation of AI, an idea cannot have a life more than 20 years. Everything is running like so fast. So complete disclosure is important. Then there is a government procedure of publication, examination, a government hearing, and then the final patent will be granted to you, right? So once the patent is granted, from there, that is where you get complete rights in the country to promote your product. But see, there are 2-3 misconceptions that I want to clear here. First, the patent rights starts from the date of filing. That means even if your patent is not granted, still once your patent is published online, it has an almost equal rights to a patent granted, because that is like a warning. It's like as I told you, it's like a gun without bullets, where you can actually warn people, and once it's granted, you can start claiming from the date of filing. So it's that powerful. So filing a patent gives you a right on your entire idea. Even though it is not granted, still it's like a warning letter. It's like a notice to tell people, you need to stop doing it. Otherwise, once it's granted, you'll have a lot of issues. So every time, understand, Filing a patent is not just for reputation, it's also to stop somebody else, or else. If you don't want somebody, you don't want to manufacture, but you want somebody else to do it, and if somebody is doing it, you can claim a right over it. Okay, so in the commercialization section, you'll be understanding that too, how to generate a prospect income even without manufacturing a single product. That's what patenting does to you. Okay, so moving on. So what are the key aspects in commercialization? So what all things can be commercialized? When we are talking about IPR, anything involved in this can be commercialized. Like for example, an idea. That means if you have protected it under patent or design, it can be commercialized. Okay. Like last time in our session, we discussed about how Apple just patented a design of a rectangular electronic device. It's just a rectangle. And it was able to fight it out with a company like Samsung and win in millions. So that's the power of designing. Okay. Talking about trademarking, I'll be explaining how even trademarks can be commercialized. Like, for example, many of you might have a hobby of buying different domain names which you think it's famous. Okay, it can get famous. So once you have the domain name and if somebody wants that, you sell it out for a higher price. Similarly, think about a brand name that you own, which is very fancy. Okay, and somebody wants to keep that name for themselves. If they decide to purchase it from you, it's not just a brand name for them now. Now it's a registered, approved brand name, which has a certificate, license for it. And now you can sell it at a very high price. So that's how trademark can be commercialized. Talking about copyright, as I told you, there is a huge industry which works in this sector. Every song, music, paintings, drawings, artistic work, comics that you see can be copyrighted. The softwares that you purchase, the songs that you buy, everything that you see is actually copyrighted. So copyright has a huge industry. So anything that is involved in IPR, that is protected by IPR, can be commercialized. Okay. So now the question comes is, what is the challenge that as Indian or as a person who is residing in India or who does not understand the ecosystem, what are the problems that they're facing when it comes to the matter of IPR in general? Not just about commercialization, but IPR in general, because of which commercialization is not happening. The first thing is lack of awareness. People don't understand the real meaning of what commercialization is. That's a bigger problem. लोगों को ऐसा लगता है, like people do assume that commercialization means somebody has to purchase the idea from me. That is what commercialization is. That's not. So the lack of awareness is creating a lot of issue. Second, the lack of awareness about the protection of IPR. People have a lot of idea. I have a huge group of students, entrepreneurs, who have brilliant ideas. And the problem is they do not protect it and go for fundings. I can give you 100 examples because in the last 10 years, I have met with so many people. I have seen how they have been bearing the pain of not protecting it. If you are a faculty or if you are a person from an educational institute, hundreds of students every year participate in hackathon. Have you seen that? You get your students all trained, develop the thing and everything and participate in hackathon. When you present your product, have you ever thought of it that you're submitting your entire core just idea, a solution to a problem which they have given as a statement, and you give it away for free? Now just imagine if they decided to get funding from the government for the same thing. You are going to get is, yes, Navatika Tullu, nothing. Because there is no right to claim on it. You gave away an idea as a public property and now somebody else can use it even without letting you know. That's the problem. So the lack of awareness has caused a lot of problem in India because we think, idea is, knowledge is free. Yes, knowledge is free, but not commercializable idea. So please be careful. The lack of awareness has cost people too much. The second is poor drafting. This is not a place where I'm pitching that you need a patent agent or an attorney. This is a place where I'm telling you if you are doing something on your own, what is the need of professionals? See, if you talk to a patent examiner or the controller, he'll always tell you that the patent agent works for two people. One is the client and one is the patent office. Now, what do they mean by that? See, these people give exams. They are trained to understand how the patent office needs the drafting. And the second of all is how the client is trying to describe and what point is that has not been covered by the client, but it is required. So we have now, this is an example that I need to take because it talks about how one person just lost the commercialization deal with Samsung because he just missed out something. Now, he's a very good client and we have been in a very good communication for the past 5 years. So let me just explain. He's a person who is an industrialist, okay? So he has a lot of patents in his name, in his company's name. Now, he created a curd making machine, okay? Now, this started as a college project because he's an R&D head in a college. So he made a curd making machine, okay? Now, understand what happened. He decided to hire somebody, or he wrote a patent on his own or something of that sort, or he pitched it with somebody to make that into a patent. It was a curd making machine in which that machine can be used outside of a refrigerator or inside a refrigerator. Now, what it means is, if you use that machine, if you know the process of making curd, right? You have a little bit of curd, you mix it into a warm milk, and then you can put it into that. You put it into a vessel, then just hide it, and just keep it in a dark place so that it ferments. Right. Now, what happens is this machine does all these procedure in itself, and it maintains the sourness. It stops fermentation process. So it's a device. So it can be used inside the refrigerator and outside the refrigerator. Now, what happened was, because of the poor drafting, whoever did it, the person did not mention that this device can be used outside the refrigerator, inside the refrigerator. In the same year, Samsung came up with a refrigeration, with a fridge, which had the same setup. Can you believe Samsung had a citation of the same patent? But the only problem was, when this Indian person, one of the very good friend of ours, decided to write a patent, he forgot to mention inside the refrigerator. And the patent of Samsung had it that the device is set up inside the refrigeration, and because of which the curd does not have to be made outside and kept it into the fridge. Just because a lack of statement made that person lose millions of dollars because it's an international company. That's the problem. You need to understand why professionals are important. It's because you cannot have a poor drafting which can make you lose a lot of ideas. So that's where the lack of poor drafting comes up. Okay, next is the fragmented ecosystem. So we do not understand, actually people generally don't understand how academia, R&D, legal system and government are correlatedly working. So the lack of understanding of that has created a lot of issue. The next is gaps in IP law. When you talk about lack in IP law, there is a lot of things involved. The first and foremost is, there are certain things which are patentable in India, which are non-patentable in India. There are certain rules and regulations which apply not in India but do apply outside India. So there is a lot of gapping, lot of lack of knowledge. The lack of knowledge is not just with the people who are filing, but also in the patent office. Yes, let me be very frank, because there are so many rules and regulations that are changing, and there are more than 1,000 people working in patent offices, right? So there is a lot of gap, which creates a lot of issue. Although they have been trying to improve it, they are trying to, but that gap in the IP law, which comes up with a lot of reforms, because as you know, till few years back, not even few months back, softwares cannot be patented in India, which is a huge gap. Now it is possible. Traditional knowledge when it comes to education in the sector of Ayurveda or Unani or something of that sort, homeopathy, it was not patentable in India, but they changed those things. So they are trying to fix the gap, but till the gap exists, there is a lot of issues in that. Okay, slow monetization. Yes. Problem is, because the disclosure is not proper, there is no correct format of drafting. The lack of R&D is creating the slow monetization because people do not have the evidence. Now, see, the patent procedure was slow, because of which the monetization used to take time, because people do not know that whether it will be approved or not, should we commercialize it or not. So because of the pending cases, the monetization was slow. But now they have tried to speed it up. Things go up and down, but yes, they're trying to speed it up such that people can easily enter the market as soon as possible. Okay, weak enforcement. Here, in a country like India, which is still developing with a population of 140 crores, it's very easy to copy somebody else's idea, create a product, send it to the market, and if you get a claim, you can say, it was an innocent infringement, it was not my fault. These things keep on happening in India in a very large scale. So, because of that, and believe me, the law enforcement, that means the police, the court, are still not very well aware about how to handle a copyright case or a patent case or an infringement case. So if you go to report a crime like this, it takes a lot of time to make the people understand that what actually IPR law is. What are we fighting? See, if you go and take somebody's place, you go and say, what, this land is mine now, nobody can use it. The police will come and help you. Okay, because they know that, okay, this is a physical property. This has been, taken over by somebody. So they'll come and help. But how do you go and explain to them, this is a drawing and now people are using it? So it's the lack of understanding between the law enforcement is actually creating a lot of issue. Okay, and the last thing is the collaboration between the industry and academia. We see there are so many colleges in India which has collaborated with industry. Like, for example, when we talk about IITB, now why do we have entrepreneurs from there? Is because the integration, the trust that they have trust that they have built. When we talk about outside of India, like Stanford and all these Harvards, why do they have so many entrepreneurs? Is because the trust that they have in the industrial area. So that needs to be built in India now. If we want to have our own, startups and huge market area, we need these people. Okay. So these are the gaps that have been identified, and now we are trying to resolve. The government is going to try to resolve. The good people in the IPR industry, whose agenda is not just money, is also trying to fill these gaps, because now it is needed. It's not just about filing a patent. It needs to come in front of people. Now that it's big time where India stands up and says, this is our idea. This is Make in India. This is how we have to move ahead. So now it cannot just be about academy. Okay. So, when we talk about the commercialization model, let's have an overview of it. So what does commercialization actually involve? What are the parts that is also considered commercialization? Like, for example, the first is licensing the patent. I'll be explaining each and every part one by one. I'm just stating out, this is also actually called commercialization. So when you license a patent, when you sell it outright, if you provide a technology to somebody in need, like for example, an NGO or a center which is in need, is also a type of commercialization. Co-building an idea with a company. Yes, if you have an idea and you have filed for a patent, if you are building it for a company, the company had a problem statement, you decided to build it, it's also called commercialization, because the company is going to use that idea for its product. Okay. Next is forming a startup. So all these things are a part of commercialization. Commercialization does not mean somebody sells it or somebody buys it. That is not commercialization. All these things are also a part of commercialization. Okay. So patent commercialization, we are not just focusing on patent commercialization, we'll be talking about all, but still, because we are all interested to know how can we sell our idea. So that is one thing. So patent commercialization. IP commercialization is the process of transforming IP into revenue generation. So commercialization actually means generating revenue. It does not mean selling the idea. So understand, it's a misconception where people think, I want to sell my idea because I want to have a commercialization. No, it's not about selling the idea. It's about generating revenue, however you do it. And revenue does not only mean money. That you need to understand. Okay. So, method of commercialization. As we already discussed, there are multiple types. Now we'll be understanding each of them. So, even when we talk about commercialization, franchising model, assignment model, IP-backed finances, joint ventures, mergers, self-commercialization, and licensing. Now, self-commercialization is also a part of commercialization. So, we need to understand that too. Okay. licensing of a patent. Now, what does licensing actually mean? So let's understand. Licensing allows the patent owner to permit another party to use the patented technology under agreed term. Now, licensing happens in multiple ways. One is part licensing, exclusive licensing, inclusive licensing. There are a lot of types of licensing. Licensing means you do not sell the product. There is no need to sell the product. Okay. Here, what you need to do is you have created an idea. It's a broad idea. Now you want to sell that in bits and portion. You can do that. And it is not necessary that you give the entire licensing or the manufacturing rights to one person. Now here multiple things can happen. When we talk about licensing, you can have a prototype. You can let somebody else build the prototype for you and you sell it. You decide that somebody else will manufacture and sell it into the market. You can decide how much portion of money or revenue you will receive. So licensing happens in multiple portions. There are certain companies which gives part licensing. Like for example, just imagine, do you think every phone company, like let's say Samsung or Xiaomi or Apple or Samsung, do you think these people keep on building technology and have everything into their phone? No, that's not physically possible. So what do these people actually do? Let's say Apple invented something. Okay, now they have it in their product. Other companies will decide to license that technology from them. So they decide to buy it from them. Means rent it out. It's like a renting. So it's licensing is like renting. So what Apple does is it will rent that Samsung will rent that technology from them. That is why you see that all the new phones have the same technology at least, such that the competition in the market is easy and they get paid in huge amount. So if you have a technology and you just want to give it away to multiple people to use it, it's not an exclusive licensing. You can give it to multiple people you want and earn in revenue. You can even restrict to what time they can use it. Let's say you say, you know what, the patent rights is for 20 years, but for the next 5 years you can use it and then 15 years you cannot. Or you can say that, for the next 5 years you cannot use it, but after that for 15 years you can buy it from us. So there are terms and conditions which involve when you develop an idea. Usually licensing is used by startups for sure and by big companies because they would never want to sell the idea. So when you don't want to sell your idea but you just want somebody else to use it or manufacture it or advertise it, you can definitely go for licensing of an idea. Okay. So advantage, licensing reduces financial and operation burden on the inventor. Definitely. See, when you talk about licensing, you don't have to be the person manufacturing it. As I told you, if you have an idea, there are 2 ways to earn money from it. 3 ways. Let's talk about the first one. First one is you have an idea, you decide to prototype it, you decide to manufacture it, you decide to market it, and you decide to sell it. That's the first thing, which is a lot of strength. I mean, a big stretch. Okay, for people who don't have time and people who are not completely involved in this, it's a big deal. The second is to find somebody who can help you in doing this. That means you find another person who is involved in this sector. You can tell them that you have a patent. You know how to build the prototype. You can co-build the product. Then he or she, whoever owns the company, can actually manufacture it, commercialize it, and give you a portion of whatever his profit is. That is second type. The third type is fun. Third type is you have a patent, you hide it, don't tell people, let somebody do the stupid mistake of using your idea and putting it in the market. Then you can go and stand in front of them with a big license, a big certificate of patent and tell them, you know what, you use this technology. Now we own it. You have to pay us in a good amount. Otherwise, we'll report you to the police station or, we can file a claim or whatever. There are multiple companies in US, and the one that comes to my mind is Sipco. Just go and Google SIPCO, Sipco. They are a company with, I think, more than hundreds of patents. They have been in the market, I think, since 90s. What they do is, they are the people who have been working in IoT, Internet of Things, even before India heard that word. So what they did was, they are a group of 15 people. They have a beautiful office in US. What they do is, they just file patents. Their entire team of people sit and think, what can be the next big thing? They just think about it, they file patent, and then they license this idea, just the idea, to big companies, including Windows, Facebook, Google, Amazon, Samsung, Apple. They have been doing it to all the big companies. If you can just see the agreement, the data is open in the market. You can see millions of dollars of contracts signed with big companies for just licensing the idea. Licensing, they're not selling it. So they are a company who will not manufacture a single product. They have hundreds of patents, and then their only duty is to file patent and let's see who uses it or who owns it. If you're using it, you pay me. They charge good amount per year also. So that's a very good business. So if you have the brains to create idea, just create it and sell it and wait for somebody else to misuse it, because that's a very good type of revenue. People have been doing that in case of trademarks also. You have a great brand name, secure it, keep it with you, let something happen, somebody wants it. If a person wants a brand name, they are going to do a trademark search. If they can see that somebody owns it, they're definitely going to give you a call. Your entire data is online, okay? So they'll give you a call, and then you can sell the brand name at whatever price you want, because you have a registered brand name. It's like having a piece of land, and the metro has to go from it. The government is going to pay, right? Definitely. So imagine a person who wants that brand name very badly because he got it. Because the biggest mistake he did was he started a company in that name without checking the trademark database. Now he owns a company in that name. He has started advertising. Now he understood that the brand name is with somebody else. Now he'll come begging to buy it from you. Give it away for a good amount, because he has created a mistake. Take advantage of it. Okay. So that's all about licensing. Now let's talk about technology transfer. Now, technology transfer is a process of transferring knowledge, skills, intellectual property, and innovation from a creator to another entity. Technology transfer basically happens two ways. One is where you have a patent, somebody else wants to purchase it. Okay, so that process is actually called technology transfer. The second is you are an individual, you have a patent. Okay, you want to build a company, give your patent rights to that company. That is also called a technology transfer. The third is where a company comes and they are like, let's go build it. Okay, you can keep your name as one of the applicants, but add mine into it so I can invest into your idea. So technology transfer happens that way too, where your idea is getting transferred to somebody else. You can do it with money, you can do it without money. Now understand, if you are a person from an academic field, it is very, very difficult to make belief with the person who is involved in the industry that your idea actually works. So what people usually do, see, you need to understand this, because people usually think that commercialization has to come with the money. No, it's not like that. The government wants to know that under Form 27, commercialization terms mean, has that product been in use? Okay, so it does not mean is it earning revenue, it just means has it been in use. Yeah, सिर्फ अपने idea लेके बैठे हो, you're just sitting with an idea because you want to be the king of the world. Okay, that was a very bad joke. So do not sit with an idea. You need to show that you have done something with it. Collaborate with the company and let them know, look, you know what? Invest into me. I'll help you build that. And once the technology is good to go with all the R&D testing and everything, then once the product is in the market, you can give me a portion share of it and I'll transfer the entire technology in your name. You can do that. Otherwise, get hold of a startup. Okay? Get hold of a startup who has a startup registration certificate. Do that. If you have a startup registration certificate and you have a patentable idea, you can get good amount of fundings from the patent office. Okay. Mira, can you just unmute the mic, please? Somebody has muted it here. Participants are again requested, please do not unmute your mic. The entire chain goes. Okay, thank you so much. So when we talk about a technology transfer, get hold of a startup. That's the easiest one. Because see, the people who are involved in startup registration certificate, they get a huge amount of funding to get their product into the market. There are stages in which the government pays, and they pay in very good amount. So let's say you have an idea, get hold of a startup, tell them that we can co-build it. I'll transfer the technology into your company's name, get the funding, co-build it. You can even do that. Or you can just ask the startup that you will help them, because see, it cannot be something that just does not mean anything. If you're doing it just for your academic benefit, great, no problem. But if you're doing to bring a change into the market, startups have easier source, because startups get money funded by the government, and second, they get an approach easily because they are ready to work hard. The companies who are already at a high level, who are earning millions a year, they don't think about technology that much as a startup does. Okay, so startup is always risk taking. So you should always get in touch with the startup. If you're an educational institute, you have incubation hubs, you can collaborate there to build this, have the technology transfer done. Okay. Giving technologies to NGO. Now, this has been a very good culture which India has adapted. I have so many students from colleges who have been trying to help people who are visually challenged, who cannot walk. They have some form of challenge which they have which have made their life difficult, or there are certain things where students are unable to read or write or of that kind, or there are old parents who are in old age homes. So there are kids who have come up with ideas and innovations which maybe as an industry they don't want to buy, because they are like, iska main kya karunga, what am I going to do with it? But what they did was they have built smart sticks for people who are visually challenged. They have created medicine alerting boxes, which helps the old people as a reminder to take their medicines, which is of great use, which is of great importance now, because people who are in old age homes, see, people who are with their kids, they have nurses, they have people to take care, still they forget medicine. Imagine the people who are left at old age homes. How are they going to be taken care of? So systems like these are being donated after a good number of patents, such that why patent filing came into importance. There are two reasons. One is to spread the knowledge of what I know. The second is to protect big companies from just earning money for it. So if you have a patent and you want to do a good thing for the society, give it away for free. I'll show you a few examples of people who have done this. But if you have a patent, giving it to NGOs after prototyping it, or as an idea also, usually not an idea, I suggest to have a prototype such that it can be used to them, is also a part of commercialization, because it shows that how somebody in goodwill, obviously you're not going to charge NGOs for it, but if there are organizations, let's say there are big industries who are involved with NGOs and they're ready to pay for your product, that is a different source. But if you want to do a good thing for the society, give such products free of cost to the NGO, because it will be helpful for them, and even that is also a part of commercialization. You can even do that. Okay. Selling assignment of a product. This is what everybody knows. Sorry. So this is something that everybody knows. That means you have an idea, you sell it to a company, you assign your complete rights to that person. That is called selling of a patent. Okay, so this I don't think anybody needs to understand. But the problem with when we talk about assignment or selling of a product is you lose your entire rights on that idea. Definitely. See, when I talk about licensing or technology transfer, you can do partly, you can add, you can add your name, keep your ownership, do those kind of things. But when we talk about selling, if you are very sure that you want a one-shot payment for it, then sell it. Because you know that you're never going to manufacture that product. But the pros and cons is you can take a one-time payment and use it, but it's not just about money, you lose your entire idea too. But if you have created multiple ideas just for that sake, then do it. So there are always pros and cons. One is if you're doing it just for the financial benefit, you get a good financial benefit with it. But you'll use your patent rights. That's it. So that's one part of it. Okay. Now, this is a big question, prototyping. So, when we talk about the entire sector of commercialization, the first and foremost portion that comes into picture is prototype. When we discuss everything, like when we talk about licensing, technology transfer to the NGOs, commercialization, selling, the main parameter that comes into picture is prototyping. Because all the companies are like, you know what, let's say you have an idea, but how do you know that it is going to work? That is where prototyping comes into picture. Now, this can happen in two ways. One, you definitely have a prototype, so you can show, you know what, this is my product and this is how it's going to work. The second is collaboration. You have to have a collaboration with a company such that it can help you to build that product such that you can identify it's working. So one is either you do it yourself, you spend the money, you hire a person, because I do understand the entire technology cannot be built by you. But the second is, you know what, co-building it with a company. You approach a company. It can happen also in two stages. One is where the company hires you, or you come to the company telling them that, you know what, this is your product and it has a problem. I have a very good client. I think he's from Kolhapur, and what he did was he purchased a product of a company. Okay. He purchased the product and he wrote to the company telling them all the problems that your product have and informing that I have a solution to these problems. Right now, because of these problems, you're losing your revenue and I can actually help you co-build it. Then he wrote a terms and conditions where he clearly stated that whatever is going to be built here as a solution, I will have a portion of my name as one of the inventors. See, when you're working with a company, you cannot claim to be the owner of the idea. The company will never agree to it. Although it's you are building it. But yes, he told me I'll be one of the inventors to get the privilege of working in this idea. Second, to get obviously a salary till you're working. And once the problem is solved, to earn a revenue from when the product reaches the market, a portion of it. The company is a huge company which sells, I think it sells transformers or something of that kind to big companies. And there was a problem with the earthing. And the person found it. He gave a solution and now he has a regular income coming from that company. So you co-build it. You find a problem to a product that they already have, find a solution to it, co-build it with the company and earn a revenue from it. Otherwise, you have an idea. You approach a company, you tell them that, this is how your company will benefit from this product, and let me have this much months of co-working with you. Let's build the prototype and let's show to the market how it's done. You can even do that. So prototyping does not mean just creating a product of your own and then going into the market and this is my product, buy it, this is my product, buy it. No, you can always find a problem in the product that they already exist. So you know how these people, you might have heard stories about students who did not do well in college, but they had great coding strength. They found problems which Google, Amazon, Facebook had. They pitched that problem and they got hired or they got paid from these companies for such problems. Have you ever heard about these things? These things do happen. When I was in college, I had a friend who was excellent in coding and he used to, troubleshoot problems of these companies and earn a very, very hefty income from it. So understand, every company is looking for somebody who is a bit over smart, not smart. They have smart people. They want people who are over smart. So if you are an innovator, do understand that you have to be a bit over smart to enter the company to enter the field of commercialization. Because smartness takes you just till here. Over smartness takes you a big step ahead. Okay. I'm not asking everybody to be over smart. ऐसा नहीं बोलना, madam ने बोला over smart बनो. No, I'm just saying that if you want to be the person earning from the market, this is a passive income, then you need to understand what is the problem. Because without seeing what the problem is, you cannot find a solution. Okay. Co-building leading to technology transfer. As I told you, with my last example, if you decide to jointly develop an IP with a company, test the product, give them the solution, then once the product is market ready, they are going to buy that technology from you. That is where they will be the applicant. They will be the owner of the invention. They are going, obviously your agreement will be clearly stating till when they are going to pay you, at what percentage they are going to pay you. But yes, once you co-build it with the company, once you identify the problem, solve the problem for them, you can definitely have a technology transfer. You can, if you are doing the solution to the problem in secrecy, let's say you have enough money, you have enough funding, you decided to solve the problem in secrecy, file a patent in your name and sell that technology to the company. Because if you can do it in a secrecy, you can always earn a higher revenue. But let's say you don't have that source. I have so many professor friends or clients who have huge knowledge of that field. They consult with these industries, help them to solve problems and earn an extra revenue for it. If you have the intelligence, why not use it for industrial purposes? So there are two ways of co-building. One is you know the problem, you co-build it in secrecy, have the IP over it and transfer it. Otherwise, build it with the company, let them know, because you don't want to invest into the prototype, which you will have to build in secrecy. You will build it with the company and then be very clear with the terms and conditions. See, beh mat jana. Don't get flown away in the emotion that I'm helping a company. Don't do that. Do not give away for free. Okay, just don't do that. Okay. So, role of startups and incubators. This is something that we all need to understand. See, startup, every college has an incubation center. Yes. What are these incubation centers currently doing is there are few kids who go and visit these incubation centers. They have an idea and then they decide to get fundings to build their product. Or if they have a good idea, they just find people who can fund their projects. It's not just that. If your college already have startups, that means they are already a well-established company. You have a patentable idea which has a commercial value, which you know is a problem and a solution. So what you need to do is get hold of these startups who have so-so idea, but have a good caliber to earn money or to get the funding. You collaborate with these people, and even the collaboration that you show with the startup is also a type of revenue generation. These are for the people who are involved in the academic field. Understand, if your college already has multiple startups, you can collaborate with them, ask them to buy your patents, show it in their portfolio as a company with multiple patents. It will always highlight or give them additional funding to showcase a company with multiple IPRs. The best example I'll tell you, if you have filed a patent, you might be getting advertisement from a company. I forgot its name. Now, they are a company who recently received national award from the IP office for being the company with the most filed patent and most commercialized patent. Now, understand the trick that they did. Yes, the company is good. They are working in an R&D sector, so they have a good portfolio. If you just go and visit their website, they are doing into it. Now, what they do is, once the patent of anybody gets granted, they approach the inventor and tell them, you know what, you have a great idea. Let's do one thing. You transfer your idea to us, we'll help you commercialize it. So what they do is they go and purchase that idea from multiple people who have granted ideas. Yes, there are companies like that. Now people are playing very smart. When you do that, as a company, your portfolio goes up because you are a company with more than 100 patents. You are a company with an idea, with an innovative mindset. The government provides funding. There are so many investors who want to fund a company with an innovative mindset. 100 product hai, ek to work karega. That is the mindset. It's always like that. It's always like that, and believe me. So if you have startups in your nearby area, these are the people who needs innovation, needs trademarks, needs copyrights to show that their company has a lot of IPR. I don't remember if I've taken this example, but Gillette is a company with 72% stake in just IPR. Their commercial value, their valuation is 72% IPR. So understand, every company with an IPR has a good name in the market. You might have seen, if you follow stock markets, that when a pharma company gets a patent, granted, their stock jumps up because the formulation is proprietary to that company. That's the power of patenting. So you can always approach incubations and startups to sell your idea because they want it in their portfolio. उसका वो use करते हैं कि नहीं वो अलग problem है. But once a startup buys it from you at whatever revenue, your product shows as commercialized. That's the power. Okay, so approach a startup and they get good funding from government to develop that product. Okay, so there are a lot of schemes that is involved. I won't be discussing those, but still, if you are a startup, huge advantage. Approach a startup. That's the best part. Okay. So here we have just addressed few of the case studies. Now this will help you to understand. Now these are few case studies which Micrave as a company has experienced, and these are few of our very good clients who used their innovation to help the society or to address certain problems to earn revenue from it. Now the first problem is through a dedicated Micrave Consultancy is one of the company who has first launched IP Bank India. Now what is IP Bank India is, whenever you have a patent filed, it does not get published onto any government website. Okay, sorry, it does not get published onto any public platforms. So your idea does not get the exposure that is required. So what Micrave did is, for all its clients, it launched IP Bank India. You can just Google IP Bank India and you'll see the website. Now suppose, let's say you have an idea which is either published or granted or whatever of that sort. The entire idea gets a platform to showcase it to the world. Now that platform is definitely international. So you can showcase that you have an idea and innovation, and people approach. Now one of the best thing that happened few days back. Now this is where I tell you the importance of IP Bank India. Not IP Bank India, putting your product into a commercial market. Because see, right now if I want to see your idea, I need to visit obviously the government website, ipbank.gov.in. That's the official Indian website. Few days back, I got calls from Calicut, Kerala, and what they said was, we have a product called DHonk in our IP Bank. Now what does DHonk do is, it restricts honking in certain areas. They are like some type of voice reducer or restrictor. So if you decide to honk, it won't in that area. So those devices were designed like, I think 5 to 10 years back. So I think 5 or 10 years, I think, back, where the device, if you establish it in one area, let's say a hospital zone, even if a vehicle decides to honk, it cannot, it won't ring. Okay, so it cannot honk. We got a call from a person who is involved into setting up toll booths across Kerala. Okay, so he was managing one of the toll booths in Calicut, where he gave up a call. He's like, you know what, I want to purchase this product from you. I'm like, sir, we don't sell that product. We connect you with the innovators. Okay, IP Bank is a platform where we connect the purchaser to the innovator. We are just a platform that helps you to present your idea. Okay. So we told them that we have innovators who have built it, we'll connect you with them. The problem was, he told that if a person comes and parks at a toll booth, okay, just you know what the toll booth does, right? If the QR code is not working, UPI is not working, or the things are not working, people start honking. And it is so bad. People don't have the patience to understand that this is not technology. It's not we who is doing it. If the scanner does not work, people start honking even in seconds, and it is painful. If you have, let's say, 6 toll booths, everyone is honking. So we need something, a blocker, which will restrict in this area. We don't mind what they do in the road, but in this area, they do not honk. Imagine, that is what a platform like this can give you. Anybody from across India can reach you. Okay, so this is the benefit. So similarly here, a patent was built for a hospital where to make, like here a person called Ghanshyam Baro created a device for hospitals, and he sold it he created a product specially for hospital. It was like a hospital bed, a support system for the patients who are completely bed restricted. And he created a patent for it. He created that patent and, portrayed it onto IP Bank. 3 hospitals here in Gujarat had faced that problem. And it was during a field visit where a problem was cited like that. And people started Googling solutions to it. If you Google an Indian patent, it will not show. But because he decided to portray that onto a platform which is visible to all, this idea came up. And then he was approached by the hospital chains to buy that product from him. That's how industry works. IP Bank is a platform which helps you to do this, to get your patent out into the market. Because your idea is protected, the person does not have to fear of it getting copied. But because it comes to an open platform, it helps to build a public image. Okay. Now, I told you about giving your idea away for free to NGOs, right? Now, we have a client called Mithilesh Patel. He has been in touch with us, I think, for the past 8 years. He has more than 100 patents. This year, he was nominated by the Patent Office as one of the maximum patent filers in India in a single year. Okay, and in last 3 years, not single year, in last 3 years, and what he did was, he told that I create innovation, I patent it, but it's not just for my benefit. People across India needs to have something that can help them build technology without the fear of being licensed or fear of somebody coming and standing in front of them. He is a person who has technology in multiple fields, including space technology. Currently, he is building a project which I think he's building it with the Air Force, or I don't know which space company he's building it with, but he's building a technology for the government, and he has been doing this work for the last so many years. He had built projects during the pandemic to help serve the patients in the pandemic rooms without human interaction to save people, and he made the entire idea public. All the 100 ideas he made public. He told that it's for human benefit and let it go for free. When I told you that when you build a product, give it away for free even to NGOs, it is considered commercialization because there is some utilization of your product. So even this is considered a part of commercialization. Imagine the valuation, a CA evaluated the cost of his entire idea and it came down to some crores, and he gave the entire property of some crores free of cost. That's also a power of patenting. So he does not have to fear that somebody else will copy it, sell it away for free, sell it away with a higher amount. No, because he owns the patent, nobody else can recreate the product and earn revenue without his permission. So that's the power of IPR. Okay. Okay. Now, this is not an Indian concept, but this is something that we need here in India. That means we all know what Stanford is, right? If somebody here don't know Stanford, it's a very reputed college. Now, do you know what please do mute your mic. Thank you. Yeah, I'm sorry about the interruption. So, when you know what HP is? Okay, I know everybody would have used an HP product, even if it's a normal mouse or keyboard or definitely the computers. So Hewlett Packard are actually two people who were studying in Stanford. Okay, now there was a professor in that college, and Stanford was not that Stanford before. Okay, Stanford is now Stanford. So he saw that very brilliant students were going outside, like once they have graduated, they go outside, they work for different companies, and they are working, building industries for somebody else. So professor in that college, his name is Dean Frederick. He thought that, I have brilliant people here. Why not invest into them? Let me help them build a culture here, and once they start earning, they will bring in the revenue back to the college itself. So Dean Frederick fetched two students, that is Hewlett and Packard. Yes, I don't know how these people have such beautiful surnames. Like, imagine if Indians use their surnames. It's very rare. Okay, I do know that you will say Tata is a good surname. Oh, yeah, I do understand, but like Hewlett and Packard. Okay, so that's just part of it. So he got those two people to build the technology, and he invested $538 to ensure legal protection of their invention. Okay, so whatever they created as an invention, he helped them to file a patent. The best part was Walt Disney Studios approached this company. Obviously, they created a company called HP, and they decided to purchase that sound. They created a technology, and that technology from them for a good amount. What they did was, once the technology was bought, he understood that how much potential the students have there. So he asked the college, the land next to the college, to rent it out to tech companies of the students who are building a startup from the college. So he started renting out spaces, and all that revenue started coming back to the college. That is how they created a Silicon Valley from the students who had huge potentials who were coming out of the college. Right now, India as a country has so many great colleges, great students who are going out of India to earn revenue, to earn their own startup. You know what? We people are really selfish. I'll be very blunt about it. I have met more than 3 lakh students, okay, in last few years. And whenever you talk about them giving back to the college, they are very blunt about it. They are like, college ne hamare liye kya kiya ki hum unko wapas karenge. Understand? They gave you the name, the position, and whatever they could in the last 4 years. So if you get an opportunity to build something with the college, you should do that, because you will always be with your idea. And as an educational institute, Megha, please help. Thank you. So understand, as an educational institute, you have a lot of ground spaces. Rent it out to students who shows great potentials. We have so many clients across India who are educational institutes who have been giving out their ground spaces, building spaces for incubation center, and with the hope that whenever the startup develops, when the culture develops, it will come back to the college. So now the college does not want only to be an educational institute. It wants to be an incubation center to promote startups, to promote this activity and help the students to have their own startups, so it's that they can give more employment. And now that's the culture India wants. India does not want just an educational hub. Now students are not approaching the colleges just to earn a degree. They want to have an identity with the college. We can soon become the colleges like them if we promote more than just a degree. Help students to understand what the importance of IPR is, how to commercialize it, and give them a space. Because right now, what students are struggling with is space. Believe me, the government is ready to pay both the educational institute who are supporting such activities, second, the startups who are doing it. There are so many government schemes. Every year, crores of rupees is being returned back to the government because people don't know how to use it. Do not use it back. People use their brains in so many places, but not to invest into something that they can build. So I'm not saying every idea in the college can be commercialized, but out of the 100 students that are passing out every year, hundreds of students, at least 5 ideas, if they get commercialized, you don't know, you can have the next Hewlett Packard in your college. Okay, so this is how I think we can change the culture in our colleges, in our educational institute, and understand commercialization does not mean just buying. If you license, co-share it with a startup, co-share it with an industry, build it with an industry. If you help out an NGO, if you help out small organizations, maybe a very small kid, I think he is 8 years old, he is helping these animal adoption centers to feed the pets. He has created a small device which can be easily equipped into multiple dog homes, which can easily feed the dog when there is no caretaker. He created that device for the adoption centers, not for the people at home. People at home, definitely, but even adoption centers, if there is no caretaker, how to take care of these animals. So that's one of the ideas. So think, people of different ages are thinking now. So now it's your time to think. Okay, so now if you need to know anything more about commercialization, how to have your own startup, how to commercialize, how to present your idea on IP Bank, our contact details are here. And if you have any further queries, just let us know. Either you can unmute one by one by just raising your hand, or else you can put it into the chat box and we'll address one by one. Thank you, everyone. I hope we were quite elaborate about commercialization. If you still have any queries, please do let us know. Thank you. Yes, sir, please.
मैम आपने बहुत अच्छा बताया, लेकिन मुझे थोड़ा सा और बेसिक लेवल पर बताइए कि
जी।
हमारे स्कूल में हमारे बच्चों के पास आइडिया है, मेरे पास आइडिया है, उसको कैसे मैं पेटेंट के लिए अप्लाई करूं और आइडिया कैसे वैलिडेट करूं?
ओके सर, जैसा कि मैंने कहा कि हमारे मल्टीपल लेक्चर्स होने वाले हैं अभी प्रायर आर्ट सर्च पे, हाउ टू ड्राफ्ट, हाउ टू फाइल, सभी स्कीम्स पे। और अभी क्या है ना सर, मैं ये बहुत लंबा टॉपिक है, मैं आपको डिटेल में समझा नहीं सकती। सर आप हमारा नंबर ले लीजिए एंड लेट्स हैव अ 1-to-1 कन्वर्सेशन ऑन इट। मैं आपको डिटेल में समझाऊंगी कि अगर आपके पास एक आइडिया है तो उसमें कैसे आप प्रायर आर्ट सर्च कर सकते हैं, आप कैसे एक इंडस्ट्री को लाइक आप कैसे पेटेंट फाइल कर सकते हैं, मैं आपको डिटेल में समझाऊंगी। बट बाकी हमारे मल्टीपल लेक्चर्स चलने वाले हैं सर, देयर आर 3 मोर लेक्चर्स टू इट, उसमें हम ये सब चीजें डिटेल में समझाएंगे। नहीं तो हमारा यूट्यूब चैनल भी है सर, माइक्रेव करके, आप वहां पे भी हमारे सारे वीडियोस विजिट कर सकते हैं सर। अदरवाइज जस्ट
नंबर मैम
सर स्क्रीन पे शो कर रहा है सर। Megha, is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Any other questions? You can please let us know. See, if we are interested to understand about what like how to file a patent, how to draft a patent, we have multiple lectures on it. But otherwise, please do reach our executives. They are always ready to address your questions. Okay, there was somebody who raised their hand. Ma'am, please can you unmute and you can ask. Yeah, Harsh sir, please.
Ma'am, I have asked 4 questions from. First is, ma'am, what is the biggest mistake inventors make when trying to commercialize their first patent?
Okay, so usually जो mistakes हमने देखा है, the problem is they do not file for a patent, they do not have correct documentation, or they don't understand the difference between patent and copywriting. So I had a client who copyrighted their content. So just visit our previous video to understand the difference between copyright and patenting. They copyrighted their content and presented their idea. And then their idea got copied, and it was a very bad legal fight. Because to understand the difference between copyright and patenting, that is of a lot of importance. And dusra, do not share your idea without an NDA, even if you have a patent. Let me be very clear. Even if you have a patent, do not discuss your idea without an invention disclosure, because it gives an agreement. See, मुझे पता है कि इंडिया में NDA को बहुत importance नहीं दिया जाता, but at least it gives you a confidence that with whom have you shared your idea and who dared to copy it without your permission. So it gives a legal liability in the person who is listening that, you know, there is an NDA, there is a patent involved, all the disclosures will be clearly made. So please do not do it, and so don't do that mistake. Please understand how your entire concept is protected and then approach an investor. Do not give complete disclosure without complete protection. Okay. So somebody asked, what is your YouTube channel? It is MyCrave. Just go to YouTube and write MYCRAVE and you'll get our entire YouTube channel. And you can just write MyCrave patent, so you can get all the videos regarding to patent file. Okay.
Then didn't share your idea with NDA. What do you mean by NDA?
Non-disclosure agreement, sir. Means whatever idea you're disclosing, it has to be kept confidential. So if you don't have a format, just ping us, we'll send you a copy of NDA where all your intellectual rules and regulations have been clearly mentioned. But sign an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement, which states कि हम जो भी आइडिया आपके साथ शेयर कर रहे हैं वो पेटेंट के अंडर प्रोटेक्टेड है या नहीं, आप किसके साथ शेयर कर सकते हैं, आप ये किस एक्सटेंट तक यूज कर सकते हैं. Every big company does that. So you need to be careful that you even do it.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Please tell me.
Ma'am, for design patent,
Yes, sir.
for designing the picture, the 3D pictures and all,
Yes,
so
sir.
should we draw it by the pencil or should we use any software? Or if we can use software, can you mention some popular softwares for designing the patent?
Sir, I will always suggest using a software because it gives you a clear, crisp view of from all the angles. Because when you file for a design application, all the 7 views has to be very clear. So I'll always suggest, to go with a software. And actually, I don't do it personally. I have an entire design team who does it. Sir, you can just ping me on this number. I'll share you few. I think our designers are using Creo, to my knowledge. But I'll just ask them to give you a link of few of the softwares that they have been using. See, our company also helps in the designing of the concept. I have clients who just give me pencil sketches, and our professional designers who are very good in their field get that pencil design into 3D products also. Now there are so many AI tools that even you can use. But yes, if you want a professional level design, you can anytime approach us, or just ping me on WhatsApp. So I'll give you a few links to the softwares that we are currently using.
Okay, thank you, madam.
Thank you.
Madam, and what is that Saven view? Saven view, I'm not getting the Saven view.
Okay. So, sir, when you file for a design application, what the government requires is they want themselves to imagine how a product will look in 3D. Now, let's say, okay. So now this is a tiffin box. Okay, I want to design patent this. So what the government wants is the 7 views. That means the front view, the rear view, the left, right, top, bottom, and a perspective view. So you have to submit 7 views of it. So what software does it? It gives you an entire product. And then you can rotate and click multiple images for the submission. So that is the 7 views that we're talking about. Because design patent protects the external view of a product. So the 7 views gives them the imagination the product, sato angles it on all the 7 sides, how it will look. So that is the 7 views that has to be submitted.
Okay. Thank you so much, madam.
You're welcome, sir. Okay, there were a few hands raised. Prashant, sir? Yeah.
YouTube channel repeat करेंगे ना?
Sorry? Yes, Girish, sir, you were saying something.
YouTube channel का नाम.
Srishti, I'll just ask you to please share the link of the YouTube channel onto the chat box, so it will be helpful then.
Already shared.
Okay, this is Grisham Tripathi, ma'am. A very nice presentation and a good insights you have given to us.
Thank you, sir.
Just want to ask about, is there, like, if you can briefly summarize, just in 2 or 3 lines, the major differences between copyright filing and patent filing, and one more thing, if you can share any guidelines regarding any structural guidelines of how or with whom we should share or how we should file the patent or all these things in a written format, it will be a great favor for us.
Sir, okay. So in the last episode, we have had a detailed discussion regarding the basics of IPR. Sir, I'll share the link of the YouTube there. I mean, the YouTube video there. So you can, in the chat box, you can, because it's a very, it has been, we have multiple videos on the basics of IPR.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so you can just go through it, because explaining it in very short, if I want to just brief it up for you, if you have any form of literature work, let's say it's a software, it's a written content, presentation, paper presentation, or videos, audios, anything artistic, it's always protected under copyright. Copyright protects the expression of work. वो आपकी core idea को protect नहीं करता. Let's say you have an idea. Let's say you have a method, mechanism, product, design, structure. Then always file it under patenting. Patent protects the core idea. That means if you have a concept and you want to paint it in different colors, file for a copyright. But if you have a core idea that needs protection, always patent it. And the third is trademark. If you have a brand name, title, identity, logo, slogan, symbol, go for a trademark. You have a detailed lecture. I think my teammates would have shared it in the chat box. You can visit the entire video. The guidelines we have also discussed, but sir, if possible, my team will share a Word document. I mean, just ping us on the numbers, sir. We'll share you a detailed guidelines about what the government requires if you want to file a patent, sir. I'll share it.
Okay. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Yeah.
Yes, I think somebody texted into the chat box. Okay, so yes, the people who have attended our first lecture, a member ID has been generated. So every time you decide to log into our next lecture, you can use that member ID to create the registration link so that we can issue the certificate. People who have not registered with us, please do register so we can issue the certificates. So that member ID, so if you're new to this session, you will have a new member ID generated. And for the next lectures, which will be continuing every 4th Saturday, or second Saturday, you will have you can use that member ID to register them. Yeah, any more questions? You can just unmute, sir, and you can ask.
That's why I'm asking, ma'am, how can I receive my membership ID? Because on the first session I have not received. In the second, we have to fill in the Google form, and I don't have still my membership ID. Will you please send it via email, registered email?
Sure, sir. So we'll share it with you, sir. Srishti, can you just please look into Prashant sir's registration, and can you help him out here? Thank you.
Yes, doing that.
Pooja ji, good afternoon. Good morning. This is Dr. Siddharth. Thank you so much for your support and Priyanka for having my design and other utility patents. I have a question. Although it's a great session, what you are every month you are taking it. Do you take up patents in international locations also?
Okay, so sir, what we can help you with is PCT filing. So once you have applied for an Indian patent, you can apply for an international patent, that is PCT filing. Every lawyer and agent has a jurisdiction restriction, sir. So like basically because I am an Indian patent agent, my jurisdiction is only in India. So what I can help you with is PCT filing. Now PCT filing is an international publication. That means if you want your patent to be published in 153 countries after filing in India, you can apply for a PCT application, which we can do it from India itself. But once the application has been published in 153 countries, you need to approach a patent agent there to help you to get the patent rights in that country, which we can't do. Even if we, like in the past, like 5 years back, we tried to apply for a US patent, but the problem was whenever there is an objection or a hearing, it is mandatory to hire a patent agent or attorney from there. So it cannot be attended by applicants. If you see the terms and conditions of certain countries, they need you to mandatorily hire. India mein aisa nahi hai. India does not have that restriction that you need a patent agent and attorney. An applicant can do that. But in countries like Canada, even Europe and US, they have restrictions to hire a person from there. So if you can afford it, you can definitely hire a person directly from there. They are already available on the government websites itself. USPTO is the government website for US, and like every country has. They have the list of patent agents or attorneys there. You can approach them and they'll help you out. But what we do is we can help you with the PCT filing with international publication. If you're doing it for your academic purposes, the international publication helps you to get your application onto the Google platform, including WIPO. So you can definitely approach that. The fees comes between 15,000 as government fees, 15 to 16,000 depending upon the dollar value. But that's the government fees, and you can have your application on the Google platform itself.
Thank you so much, Pooja ji. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, any further questions?
Thank you. Thank you, Pooja. It was really nice, interesting.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, I ask.
Yeah, Harsh, to ask.
Can university research create multiple revenue stream from a single patent family, ma'am?
They can definitely do that. That is called licensing. That means if you have a non-exclusive licensing, let's say you have an invention, जैसे बहुत सारी companies करती है. If you have a product which can be licensed by multiple companies. Now, I have a very good client who is involved in electronics, where he creates, as I told you, he creates systems where, the electronic transformers or, electric something circuitry he does. And he sells that idea and sells that licensing to multiple companies across India. So if you have that kind of a system which can be used or sourced by multiple people, you can definitely have multiple income stream from a single idea. You can definitely do that. But Indian level पे वहाँ पे पहुँचने के लिए you have to show a very strong R&D. So that is where startup comes in. अगर आपके incubation center में, if you have a startup which can show being involved by multiple people who are, like, if you get hold of a professor, see, that's the best part. If you have a professor in your startup who has an experience, let's say, of 15 years, he is the backbone of your company now. Now, when you present your product and you say that we have people in our company with 15 years of industrial experience, the product and the market value changes. So that is how you can even have a startup in the college by involving professors with greater experience, which shows that you have a better experience and the product has a better value. So the college can always use their professors as a backbone to start an own startup and have a better commercial valued product. So you can always do that. Thank you, Harsh.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
One more question, ma'am.
Yeah, please tell me.
At what stage should inventors approach inventors? Idea stage, patent stage, prototype stage or revenue stage?
Approach whom? किसको approach करने की बात हो रही है? See, if you are approaching an like if you say अगर हमें approach करना है, always an ideation stage. अगर if you have an idea, consult a patent agent, attorney or a firm at the ideation stage because they'll help you with the protection. That is the first thing. वो first aid मतलब वो first काम है. It's like starting to learn ABC. So if you have an idea, consult a person, get it prior art searched and get it patented. If you are talking about investors, do not approach them with a free hand. खुले हाथों से मत जाओ because they are going to the people who are going to clap, not you. So do not approach anybody who are at an investor stage. I have clients, मेरे पास इतने अच्छे बच्चे आते हैं ना, वो investors के साथ बात करके pitch करके आते हैं, and as soon as they say, you know what, we want a commercial value, they come and approach the patent office or patent agents, and it's a very bad time. To approach it when you have an idea or before, at least before consulting, before you go to pitch the idea, please come and get in touch with us. It's always a request. ठीक है? तो हमेशा अप्रोच तब करो जब आप मार्केट में ना गए हो, it's still in a hidden. जब तक वो चीज छुपी हुई है, उसकी वैल्यू बहुत ज्यादा है. So always come and approach a patent agent, attorney, or file a patent before getting in touch with any investors or any people.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
If one question was, if a student develops a commercialized innovation using university research, who should own the IP?
It's always good. It's always good to get your university involved. See, जिसने आपको एक प्लेटफॉर्म दिया है, लोग दो तरीके से बात करते हैं. I have seen both the sides. Okay, so अगर आपकी यूनिवर्सिटी ने आपको बिल्कुल सपोर्ट नहीं किया है, फाइनेंशियली भी, गाइडेंस भी नहीं दिया है, then एज अ स्टूडेंट आपको कोई रोक नहीं रहा कि आप पेटेंट खुद के नाम से फाइल करो. इंडियन कॉलेजेस की सबसे बड़ी गलती है कि उन लोगों ने इसके रिगार्डिंग रूल्स को टाइट नहीं किया है. दे हैव गिवन अ वेरी फ्री हैंड. इट्स अ प्रोज एंड कॉन्स टू इट. सेकंड, बट बिकॉज यू आर अ स्टूडेंट ऑफ दैट इंस्टीट्यूट एंड you have a goodwill with the college, see to it that their name is also a part of your invention, but terms and conditions clear रखना कि if you generate a revenue, कितना % college ले जाती है. That has to be a bit clear. So if your college have no rules and regulations, approach the college, let them know, because it's always a good. But if you think कि यार college ने कुछ नहीं किया, मुझे परेशान किया ऊपर से, then if your college have no IPR rules, you are in no liability. So it's on you. It's always on you कि आप अपने college को कैसे perceive करना है. But I'll always suggest कि college को थोड़ा सा जाना चाहिए. 4 years of education with that college, it always shows a good front of you. जैसे Facebook के साथ हुआ, वैसे इंडिया में होना थोड़ा मुश्किल है. If you are not working with, अगर आप IIT या AIIMS में नहीं है, इतने strict rules and regulations नहीं है. So you can be okay with it.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. So I hope everybody who are still a part of this lecture had a good understanding, and we'll keep on bringing much more interesting lectures, much more interesting examples. And I try to give examples of my own client क्योंकि मेरा उनके साथ बहुत close relation है, उनके साथ बहुत अच्छे experiences है. So I try to share that because I think my examples will help you to understand where you stand right now. So my career has been doing this for the past 10 years. I hope you all enjoyed it. Please be a part of Mission Invent. If you have people, organization who would like to join us, who require this knowledge, please do give a reference to them. So till we meet next time, think about innovations, think about ideas, and do not give anything out for free. Okay, thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.